Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Top 9 Podcast, baby. My name's Tom Cassidy. Adele Carollo's back from vacation.
Hi, guys. I'm back.
Shout out to the perverts, baby. Somebody on the comments said that's what we should call our fans. The Top 9 Perverts.
Oh, jeez.
And I think it's got a ring to it. No, I'm just kidding. We have a very special guest today. Katie Boyle's with us.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Sorry if you're immediately uncomfortable.
No, I love
What are you talking
perverts.
about? I'm friends with Katie.
I know. We're talking about perverts right away from the top.
She's a
Perverts are
comedian.
great.
She lives with perverts every day.
Yeah.
True, but I
Yeah.
want her to feel it's a safe place
It's
for
not
women.
safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's safe, but not.
They're all very kind to the perverts in the comments, so
Sure.
shout out.
At least they're letting
Absolutely.
you know they're perverts. It's
Yeah.
the guys who pretend to not be perverts
Yeah.
that I'm afraid of.
That those are the ones that'll get you, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Well, man, I'll tell you, vacation was good.
Yeah, vacation was great.
Great.
Much needed
Nice.
girl time.
Mm.
I went with 8 girlfriends. There was 9 of us. We had the time of our lives.
Nice.
That
So
does
much
sound
fun.
great.
Yeah, we've been friends for a really long time, like 20 years plus. And it's like more like family and sisters, like the good sisters you get along with.
Sure. Yeah, it must be nice to have a big group of girlfriends. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's so fun.
You ever notice like how like when like another woman sees another woman and like how excited they get when they like see each other for the first time? You know what I'm talking about? I don't think anyone's ever been that excited to see me ever. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Your boys get that
the
excited.
woman excited, not that excitement.
Like your Philly
though.
boys, when they give you a pound, there's like a lot of pep in their
Mm,
step. They get
not-
fucking hyper.
Not like woman on woman excitement, if you ask me.
It sounds like a porn category.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, totally.
Back to the perverts.
It's in my search history. Back to me.
Yeah.
No. Katie, what's your top 9 today?
Top 9 worst dates.
Okay, so you're in a relationship now.
Yeah, and we wrote this together. He helped me. He was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
my
remember that other
Lord.
guy you told me about?"
So you tell him about it. It's an open relationship in the sense that you share all of your
Yeah, just that.
sordid past.
Definitely not in the other way.
What do you mean?
I would not. It's closed in monogamy, but open
Oh,
in
yes,
trust.
yes. Absolutely, sure. We don't want to give anybody the wrong idea.
Yeah,
We
for the
talked about that
perverts.
on your podcast, actually.
Yeah.
And Adele, you've gone on some bad dates,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I have. I have. It's very relatable because that's part of the problem. Like, I
Yeah.
can't find a boyfriend because the dates are so terrible.
Sure.
It never gets to that point.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys agree with this too. The difference of men and women are different. But I was trying to think of like bad dates I've been on, and I think like it's different for.
Totally.
Well, in the sense of like I really couldn't even think of one, but I feel like for a man, a bad date is not getting any action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for you guys, it's like
I think a lot of times
you end up in a trunk or something.
the man also doesn't realize it's a bad date half the time. They
That's
think
probably
they're
it
crushing
too.
it.
I mean, yeah.
They think it's going well.
And then they're
Sure.
so offended when you don't want to see them again. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, then that's when you know you missed a bullet, dodged a
Yeah.
bullet. Right.
Dodged a bullet, yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's just get into it because you got 9 different dating stories. This is Katie Boyle's top 9 worst dates coming in
Okay.
at number 9.
And I've had like a million dates, so.
Sure, set these up like it's like a movie script. Like, interior, bar.
Okay,
No,
wait.
I'm just kidding.
I actually forgot about this one, so I added it in. I'm gonna switch this one with one, but I only remember because I was coming here and
This is number 9.
this. Oh wait, I don't have it in order. It's just should it be in order?
Yeah,
It's
you're
your
last.
top 9, honey. What are you
so-
doing to me,
so-
huh?
so
Do a little
the-
research,
so-
goddammit. No, I'm just kidding.
so-
I'll explain it to you real quick.
The top first one should be first.
First one should be your like top worst date, I guess.
Okay,
Number
yeah.
1 should be the all-time worst date.
And then everything
Okay.
else, it's all good.
So let's do.
So we're doing your not that. That's at
Not
the
that
end.
bad.
The worst one is number 1, and that's at the end of the episode.
Okay, so we'll go with
Number 9.
Number 9. Okay, so then that's probably. This is like it's happened to me 3 times, but being heckled by first dates.
What do you mean by that?
Because you did the mistake, and I obviously didn't learn, of inviting them to a show. And so one heckled me, another one his friend heckled me, and another time he heckled a comedian on stage. So 3 different guys.
Okay, 3 different fellas.
But I still count that as one. worst
Sure. It's
because
kind of
it's
like
the same thing.
it's like a hypercut of all of the same thing.
Yeah.
So were these first dates or just no, not necessarily?
Yeah.
All of them?
I think the one
So
where
like
he
bringer
heckled,
show dates.
the
This
one
is
where
funny.
he heckled me, we had been friends before, but then we had started
Beginning
dating.
stages.
Yeah.
Of
Mhm.
dating. Yeah.
He was just so drunk and
Yeah.
And this is unique to dating a comedian, obviously. 'Cause
Yeah.
this isn't
Sure.
a typical thing, but
If you're an
inviting-
accountant.
I'm just saying, your nights are occupied, so once in a while you got to throw it, combine your efforts and do your gig and have your date. I imagine
Yeah.
that's where your head was at. You're like, just come to my show.
Yeah.
I really always try to completely separate it. I remember I went to I had a show at Stand Up New York once, and I was like hanging out with a woman, and I made her stay at the bar across the street while I went to Stand Up New York. Playa. But so this happened 3 different times. What did the guy who heckled you say? What do you remember?
I can't even remember. He was so drunk and he had
Uh-huh.
snot coming out of his nose. It
Oh.
was pretty
Jesus
bad.
Christ.
It was not. Yeah.
And then the one time it was a friend who said something.
It was
To
the
you?
date's friend heckled,
Uh-huh.
but he didn't tell the friend not to, and he interrupted my whole set. He was just a complete knob. And then the last one was he heckled Alex Pavone when he was on stage, which is the most embarrassing.
The
I'm like,
last
okay,
guest.
you didn't even heckle me. You heckled my friend.
I like that guy. He sounds cool to me. Fuck Pavone.
And he was so offended when I got mad at him.
Uh,
Because I had to come through to the back and be like, hey, we're not going to go on this date. And he was like, I was just helping. And I was like, he doesn't need your help. He's a
Yeah.
professional
Uh-huh.
comedian.
Uh-huh.
I find that guests of staff or even my own guests make the worst audience members.
Uh-huh.
They don't even mean to. They're just, I don't know. I don't know if they just feel more outgoing because they know somebody there. I don't know what it is, but like any of the owners' friends that come in or the servers will have a friend or a boyfriend. Like they're the worst audience members. Even my own girlfriends, I
Yeah.
have to be like, shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
Yep. But we're also, all of us are very hypersensitive to that, right?
Yeah.
So you expect those people to actually behave the best.
The best.
So you have them under a microscope too.
Totally.
And then
Yeah.
when they act like that, it's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. So the second, the friend, right, who heckled, right?
The guy's friend, yeah.
Did the guy be like, oh, I'm so sorry?
No.
She said
he
no, she didn't
laughed.
stop
Oh.
him. Yeah, that was her problem.
So-
Because had he got mad at his friend, you'd be like, oh, he's a
I would've
keeper.
been like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
hot.
Good judge of character.
That's actually a good idea to go
See how
to a
he
show
handles the
with your
situation?
friend and then he
Not a bad
heckles
idea.
and then you're like, keep that comedian's name out of your mouth. And you slap them. No, but yeah, wow, crazy.
Well, I also think it's more so a lot of men they want to be the funny one. So if they're him trying to heckle Pavone, he was trying to show like he's funny too.
Yeah.
Or like the guy heckling me was like I'm funny too. So I think they
Yeah.
struggle sometimes with not being the funniest.
Yeah, with Pavone, I don't know how you heckle a act out. Kid doesn't have jokes. Listen, coming in at number 8.
I think he has the best joke.
he's
He's
the funniest person, and he makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 8.
Okay. I would say, a guy asked me on a first date what my 5-year plan was. So
Okay.
that's pretty scary. I feel.
You think so?
Yeah, on a first date.
Yeah, it's not an interview.
Well, isn't it
It's
though?
not charming. That's not a charming
All right,
question.
it's not charming, but
It makes you think about things you don't necessarily want to think about on a date. You
Sure.
just like gets serious quickly.
I
Yeah,
get
it could be. That should be after relationship. There's steps.
Yeah.
And even then, I still don't have a 5-year plan. Okay, and I'm in a
Yeah.
year-long relationship.
At least make me feel comfortable admitting that to
And
you.
what's-
I don't know what the fuck
yes.
I'm doing.
Yeah, don't give me
Absolutely.
a existential crisis.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I did go on to date this guy, and like within
Uh-huh.
3 months, he was like, "You better want kids. I don't believe in abortion." He said abortion is murder, not even knowing if I had an abortion, and then said, "Oh, women who don't breastfeed is assault." So really, when he said the 5-year plan thing, I should have been like, "This is a red flag."
2 out of 3 ain't bad. Listen, what's interesting about both of these, number 9 and number 8 so far too, is these guys are shooting them in the foot to be able to get what a man wants, which is some action, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying you're heckling a comedian. You're asking a lady about her 5-year plan. That's not getting you
Yeah,
girls.
more of how a guy
moist
is
down there.
completely oblivious. He's
Yeah.
ruining his own chances for
Uh-huh.
sex. Yeah.
Well, I also think, the 5-year plan guy was like we didn't have sex for like a whole month. He was definitely like he wanted like a wife. He was like, he had a very structured plan on how women behave and what he wanted out of it. So
Sure.
it was very intense.
Yeah, I bet. What did he do? Do you remember?
He told me he was a hotel what are they called? And something begins with engineer. But
Okay.
when I was doing his taxes, it's actually just like you're like a cleaner, which is totally fine. I
You
don't
did
mind.
this guy's taxes?
Yeah, I did his taxes.
What? That's crazy. Really burying the lead on this one. What the hell?
Yeah, because I was doing my own one day, and I was just in his, and he said he
Okay.
didn't do them for 4 years, and I was like, okay, I'll do it for you.
Sure.
And yeah, but which
Sometimes-
is like fine if you're a cleaner. You just say you're a cleaner. Don't say you're a engineer. But I can't remember what the word for it is.
I got you. It's like saying custodian. Custodial engineer.
Yeah.
or something.
Or maybe that's
Yeah, that
on me
makes
for not
sense.
knowing what that is and just
Yeah.
presuming.
Yes, that
Okay.
is. I'm kind of a little bit on this guy's side. I think he was just really upfront about a lot of things,
Well,
and sometimes you gotta be.
breastfeeding is not-
Breastfeeding
yeah.
is assault. But that's the shit you want to hear because you want to hear about the deal breakers. You want them to have some kind of admissions of what kind of fucking
Yeah.
psychos
You
they
want an
are.
excuse to stay alone for the rest of your life. Coming in at number 7, I am on fire this episode. Holy hell.
Okay, I like this one. This guy DM'd me and said he was a friend of, I'll just say the comedian's name, Ian Lara.
Okay.
So I was like, and he looked really cute in his photos, and I was like, Ian's the best. Now, in hindsight, I should have messaged Ian and asked, because
Yes.
found out months later, Ian was like, who?
That's pretty good.
This,
This guy's cool as shit too.
Well-
So how was the date?
well, we did a Zoom date right before a real date. So same day over Zoom, and he was like, okay, well, like, let's meet up. And I was like, grand.
Was he Dominican too?
He was, I think, yeah, he was.
I was just wondering because Ian's Dominican, so I guess he was playing that angle of
Oh.
like he could have said he was his cousin or something. But go ahead, sorry.
And so he looks like kind of geeky, and he's like an accountant or something. And he comes out and he's telling me all about that. It's really nice. We're walking down, and then we go to sit down and have a coffee. And then he starts telling me about all the pussy he got in Florida. It's really specific as
That's
well.
crazy.
And then I was like, I don't understand why you're talking about pussy in Florida. And he was like, well, because when we were on the Zoom date, remember you were drinking Mountain Dew, and I've never drank Mountain Dew in my life. And I was like, you have me mixed up with someone else. So I guess some other girl he had a Zoom date with, they had talked about having sex in Florida,
Oh,
and then he
okay.
mixed me up and then just told me all about the vagina he was getting.
Wow, I'll tell you, Mountain Dew keeps coming up on this podcast, huh?
Yeah, I thought he was
And-
gonna be like, I saw you drinking Mountain Dew, and you know what I had in Florida? Mountain Dew and pussy. You like just had to connect it somehow.
Mountain
I'm
Dew
like,
pussy's coming.
like
a
where's
new
he
flavor.
going with this?
It
Yeah.
was so strange. And then when I didn't want to see him again, he just, he kept messaging.
He
And
said he was friends with Gary Goldman.
no, I put up a video. I did those sex education videos like a couple of months later, and I put up one, and
Okay.
it was like a jokey one where the clit is. And then he messaged me being like, I want to lick your clit. And I was like, Jesus, I have to block this guy.
Man,
Oh my god! Yeah, there's that TikTok or whatever where the guy is like, you know, representing dating now. When the guy's like, "What's your favorite color?" She's like, red. He's like, "What color are your nipples?" like, like, right away. That's what it feels like. Like, so
Yeah.
what's your favorite color? It goes from 0 to 100 really quick.
It really does. I had a guy
Really
after Hinge matching, and I got my number very quickly, then asked me if I do anal. I was like, the fuck? No, I'm saving it for my marriage that eventually will need it one time.
yeah, you got to keep something for the honeymoon.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Vegas, baby, blackjack and anal.
Blackjack.
Well, yeah, okay. We're developing a pattern here, but yeah, it's a lot of dudes just not saying the right thing.
For the most part, where do you date from? You
I
on
would say
apps?
Hinge or my bar was the previous.
Okay.
So I met all those guys with the heckling. One was from a dating app, and the other two were guys who met me at the bar. And then the guy, the engineering guy, or whatever it's called. He asked me out
janitor.
at the bar. Yeah, the janitor. That was the word I was looking for. He asked me out at the bar. So it's kind of like, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Mix. I'm like taking notes.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, where? What was the app called?
Yeah, so
Some of these guys sound pretty cool to you.
it was
Coming
Hinge.
in at number 6. Wait,
Okay,
sorry, go
there
ahead.
was a Hinge guy who.
Is this 6?
I'm just kind of going with it. Yeah.
Okay, number
let's go with
6. Hinge.
Okay. There was a Hinge guy who was like, I know so much about Irish people, and you don't need to. I don't care. I would love to just
Yeah.
meet someone who doesn't have to do the whole Irish thing, if I'm honest.
Sure.
But he was like, yeah, isn't that where Ireland's where Glasgow is? And I was like, no, that's Scotland.
Yeah. I know so much about Ireland.
And then he was like, no, but like, I do, like, I know that's where the movie Brave is. And I was like, also Scotland.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, okay, but isn't there a log throwing sport there? And I was like, you have to stop doing this because that is also Scotland.
Yeah, I think he was negging you, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to be funny, and it just didn't work.
I don't know. He was kind of dumb.
Or he accidentally Wikipedia'd Scotland
yeah,
on the way
he was.
over.
He was really pretty and dumb. Like his hinge picture. This is my fault. His hinge picture was.
Oh, we have
was
a
his
winner,
abs.
Adele. Pretty and dumb.
Up.
Can we get her this info?
He was like a PT.
So-
And then the rest of the day, you just talked about his ex and how he let go of the love of his life. You know,
That's
they
a
do
dumb-
that a lot. That's a real.
Well,
First
that's why they're
date.
single, because they can't let go.
Yeah, but then they couldn't commit to the love of their life. You know, the sort of.
Oh yeah. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
On dates, I have to like say in my head like a mantra: "Do not bring up your ex-boyfriend. Do not bring up your ex-boyfriend."
Especially on a first date. It's
Yeah.
just a crazy thing.
I know, and I'm good, but I have to like consciously think about it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's
And you have-
definitely.
You have to
Go
not
ahead.
project too, because you know they'll eat like ketchup, and you'll be like, "Oh, my cheating ex ate ketchup too."
She slept with 57 men. There's a Heinz ketchup joke, 57 flavors. Guys, at some point, catch up to all these jokes that I'm telling. I feel like I'm in a fucking wind tunnel right now. No, but so was that just the only one date with that guy?
Yeah, just one date with that guy.
Could you, so you say he was very good looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing, like, did you think about trying it out more just because he was good looking, or that doesn't matter to you?
No, well, I probably dated people who are good looking for the wrong reasons. Yeah.
Mhm.
But this guy, I was also seeing someone else, and we were just about to get exclusive. So I was like, I had just had like a little meltdown where I was like, oh, do I even like this guy? So
Sure.
I just went on a few quick Hinge dates before. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Playing the field,
yeah,
New York City.
yeah.
And just like that, we're at number 5. Coming in at 5.
Okay. I guess this isn't well. Oh, I did have a really bad first sexual experience with a guy. Would that count as a first date?
That's a date. And it doesn't have to be first, just worst dates.
Okay, yeah, that was the worst. That
what
was
happened?
this. I feel really guilty. Everybody's gonna judge me for this, but because I've never seen like skinny penises.
Oh, looked like he was checking your oil, huh?
And which is totally fine because you once they're like able to do everything else. But this guy didn't do any of that, and I hadn't seen that before, so I got a little bit of a fright. But also was
Sure.
like, want to be like cool and
Was
understanding.
it long at least?
No, it was tiny and skinny. It was like a.
So it was just a very small penis.
It
It's
was-
a micro penis.
I wouldn't say micro because micro are stubby, right? I don't know. It was just
I guess.
like skinny.
So it was well, yeah, that's. So it was like a pinky.
Yeah, like a pinky with like a
Uh,
mushroom top. It was like one of
tough
those
one.
fancy mushrooms on a steak, you know?
Sure.
I have the
The
visual.
shiitake.
Continue.
But yeah, so and he was really like buff and like but he just like kind of really into himself, so he just went straight to sex. He didn't like try to like warm me up or go down on me or anything. And then he asked me
And you got it when you have a little
Yeah, you
pee-pee
would think
like that.
he
You
would
gotta do
know how
something.
to overcompensate.
even men who have like are well endowed will usually do that, so they don't have to worry about the girl orgasm during sex, you know. So yeah, then he asked me for a condom, but I was like, I don't know, I just have average size condoms.
Did you say that?
I just said I don't think it'll fit, and he was
Oh
like,
my God, you said that?
well, yeah, because I don't want to get pregnant.
Sure.
I'm still having sex with this guy, okay? Before anyone
Yeah, put it-
says that I'm dick shaming, I still had sex with him, okay?
Without a condom on?
No. He put it on, and he said it was
Put it
fine.
on like a pair of pants.
It was like 1 second into sex, and it had like slipped off, and he was
Oh, so
like,
you were right. Yeah.
yeah, and then he was like, oops. And it was like, I've never had that happen to me before, and I know it's more common, but it was still like, I was kind of frustrated because
You
I was
never had a
like,
small penis before.
no, I never had a condom fall off inside me.
Oh, gotcha.
And yes, I've never had that small of a penis.
You'd think he'd have this down to a science or something at this point of like he would have like, I don't know if he like ties the end off or something, or
Has a little belt.
if there's big condoms, there's probably the opposite of Magnum,
yeah,
I
come
would think.
prepared.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
find
yeah.
your glass slipper, bro, and
Yeah.
take it out with you.
Can
Yeah,
you-
it's like he's squishing it into, you know, like when they wear their dad's shoes.
Yeah. It's Two penises on top of each other, two like little rascals. Can you get enjoyment out of a really small penis at all?
No, but I don't
Fair
even.
enough.
Sometimes you don't even get
No.
enjoyment out of a too big a penis either, you know, because it can
Sure.
hurt.
The
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't
the
like
very
that.
small penis, I imagine, just would be a turn off in the sense that you don't. The best part about sex is feeling like you're getting stuffed for the most part.
I hear you, sister. Preach,
And
girl.
one of the better parts of it anyway.
Yeah.
But and then the opposite of that, like just feeling, for lack of a better word, loose is like you. It's
It's like
not,
throwing a hot dog down a hallway. That's an old school
yeah,
one.
you want to feel connected. I mean, he should probably stick to anal. He's perfect penis for anal.
Oh, you
There
think
you
so? Fair enough.
Yeah, he should learn how to do some kind of reach around and go for the butt. I don't know.
So that was the last time you ever saw that guy.
Well, no, because then he said he was gonna pick it out for me.
Pick it out with the condom?
Wait, so you went from
Oh.
like oops to hold on, I'll get it, and then his phone was on the bed and he shined a flashlight up my vagina, which is like not how vaginas work.
Yeah,
and
this should not be number 5, by the way.
Oh, this
should
should be
be
the last
very
one.
lower on the list. Holy shit.
oh shit, yeah.
Sounds like
That's the best ending to the story. He took out the iPhone flashlight
Yeah.
to
Well,
your vagina.
Not even that. He did get it, in fairness to him, and I swear on my life, and I still to this day don't know if it was just a really bad joke, but he like lay in bed afterwards and was like, "Are you satisfied?" I just don't know. But I don't think he has a great sense of humor, because when I was texting him the next day, I was like, "Well, we don't have a great conversation either," and I was like, "I don't want to get rid of someone because I feel so much shame and Catholic guilt." I was like, "I don't want to get rid of someone because their penis." So I was like, "I'll just see if we can have like a conversation," but it just got real boring, and I was like, "What's your favorite color?" And then I ended it. I was like, "I don't want to see you again," and he got really mad, and he was like, "But I feel like we've really connected. Like I told you my favorite color."
Oh my god. That's amazing.
So this guy, yeah, that should have been number 9, but whatever. I do have a really, really bad one for number 9. So
Number 1, you mean?
I mean number 1. I'm confused.
Oh, that's
all good.
pretty bad.
These
That's
small
really
penises are
bad.
confusing us. That was number 5, right?
That was 6 or 5?
5.
5. Okay.
Was it?
We gotta be sure.
I don't know.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Love you.
Well, here, while you figure that out, I'm going to say this just to light this room on fire. I think
Do
men.
you have a pen?
Do I have a pen? No.
No.
Figure out how many you did so far.
Okay,
for
I'm going to
me.
get a pen because I'm going to scratch it off. What I've done.
No, I need you to stay.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Just
I'll
use
I'll
your
use mine.
finger.
Okay, I'll write it on my
And
phone. You
and
talk
listen,
about men.
And listen to what I want to
You
say.
talk about men, Tom. Tell me your
I was
experience.
watching with my fiance, Love is Blind. Did you watch that show on Netflix?
I have not.
They're behind a wall and they
I know
talk
like
and
the
stuff.
premise of it.
And you know, from everything we've talked about on this list so far, men are psychotic
Yeah.
and they're losers,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
But there's really nothing like just the pure desperation of a woman as
Oh,
well. I'm just saying that like men are crazy.
Oh, I am
and
desperate.
women are
Men?
desperate.
I was desperate.
See, she's
'Cause
admitting it.
Because once I stopped it and I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna just have fun.
Uh-huh.
That's when I met a really amazing guy.
Sure, yeah, and that's what freed you up. So I'm
yeah,
just,
no, both genders have their hang-ups and
Uh-huh.
issues. Nobody's
Well, here's the thing. What
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
saying
not saying
is,
women. I'm saying I was. I wanted the fairy tale. My whole life since I was like 2, I just wanted like to fall in love with the one. I was like, it's kind of
beautiful.
like I was. Also, I grew up in a very violent home, so I'm like
Mhm.
attracted to like fucked up, messed up type of people.
Mhm.
So I had to like change that too. So that's the other thing. We're all just learning this generation about childhood trauma,
Sure,
and now we find that
Absolutely.
attractive.
yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
go back to your.
Women are desperate. That's it. And it's because men are crazy, but it's all you have to choose from, right? So you have to
Yeah,
have
if-
some sort of level of desperation
I agree.
to want to be involved with these fucking lunatics.
Yeah, and play the game over and over again. And it's like a lottery. It's like finding the normal ones. You got to weed out all these fucking.
Good. I thought this was gonna be a fight, and we all agree: men are crazy, women are desperate.
Yeah.
Have you
I
figured
think,
it
well,
out? How
women-
many have you done?
We've done. I think we've done. You said 6, right? You said 5.
I said that was 5. I
Yeah, we did 5.
thought. Okay,
'cause
so
I-
this is 4.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna write out the other ones so that they're ready to go. But I also think that women are we're taught to like be chosen, and so men are just a bit more like play the field more. It takes us like a bit of rewiring sometimes to be like, oh, we should date multiple people until someone is exclusive with us. Whereas when we start seeing someone, we're like, let's be the best version of ourselves and hopefully they'll pick us type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Smells like desperation.
We all agree. What a world. Oh, man. This has been such a good episode so far. I'm very excited. Katie, stop
so
writing.
happy
You
that
have to
you're
have your
not-
number 4 right now.
Aren't you so happy
mean
that you don't have to
number
date
No,
anymore?
you can't wait anymore.
You
What
mean-
is your 4-year
that
plan?
that was 5 of them, and then so I have 3, but I'm just oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so we'll do this. Okay, so then I have 4 left. That's
yes.
right. Okay.
Coming in at number 4.
Okay. Okay, on a first date, a guy told me about how he had cancer and how his brother had killed himself and how he thought about killing himself and really felt like a therapist for the whole date.
Yes.
And
you
I think
told me
that's-
about this story before.
I've changed a couple of the details.
No, I got the, yeah.
One specific detail.
But,
I mean, that was a pretty bad date.
sure. Could have been, he could have told you he had AIDS. That'd be worse.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also like a first date.
Sure.
need
No,
to-
saying you're contemplating suicide now, you have a responsibility for this man's life.
That's
you know,
a tough one.
You gotta remember anytime.
You got to make sure the date's good.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're not the final straw.
Can you put that in that?
Oh, sorry.
All good, no problem.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah, I also feel like as well, I'm not qualified,
Yeah.
and it's very risky. I'm giving
It's a
advice,
lot of
going, well, I hope he doesn't
responsibility.
jump off a bridge now. I don't know if that was
Yeah.
good advice.
Totally.
And then you're like, what happened to like? Okay, we need to go from not what is your favorite color to fucking suicidal thoughts. Like, let's go in the middle. Like, I don't know, something in the middle. I want to talk about Bridgerton, or
sure.
I'll talk about your UFC even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Text him. I changed my number. It's the suicide hotline. Give him a call.
I love that. That's great.
Well, we know what that guy's 5-year plan is.
I
Yeah.
actually have known him now
To
for
be
5
dead.
years, and he's
Oh,
fine.
good.
He's actually a lovely person. I think
Yeah.
I just caught him at about a
Yeah.
bad point.
You know, it's
Timing.
so tragic when you hear someone took their life, and you're like, if only they told somebody they were struggling. You're like, fucking Katie Boyle. He
Yeah.
tried to tell you.
Yes. No. I mean, there's actually the reality of that, of like people being like, I want you to tell me, but then the reality of having to live with someone like that is exhausting and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting,
It's a joke, Tommy.
but it's true too.
Yeah, I think it's also like
Comedy.
majority of people who actually do it, they don't tell anyone, and then people who tell. Like family members, you're like, oh, that's risky. Okay, we gotta look after them. But when they're telling first dates, it's more like trauma bond.
Yeah.
Trying to like.
Totally.
And I was like, yeah, let me, because I had like rescue fantasies. My therapist told me I do therapy now.
I love that rescue fantasy.
Well, once I got a like normal boyfriend, I was like, well, I gotta go to therapy. I don't want to fuck this up.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's super hot when a guy tells me they're in therapy.
Wants to kill himself.
No, that they're in therapy.
You like that?
Yeah, they're working on themselves. Because my therapist said this to me yesterday. Obviously, my boyfriend's like, you know him. He's like so sweet and very chill and mellow. But she was like, when you have an argument, you're already ahead because you understand your trauma, and he doesn't. And she was like, everybody has something. So like when we fight, because he just kind of shuts down a little bit. So that's because of his stuff. But she was like, if both of you aren't in therapy, then one person is a little ahead as well.
That sounds like kind of just a
She's
racket.
trying to get him in like a pyramid
It's
scheme.
like I
all a
have an
fucking
appointment
racket.
available right after yours.
Yeah, and I'm glad it works for you, and I'm sure it is very nice to be. But yeah, that's just like to me, that's like a mental gymnastics that therapists do that I think is not that great. Because she should be focusing more. I don't know. What the fuck do I know about it? I like The Sopranos.
I mean, it's only $15 a week, so.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Where'd she get her degree from? The Salvation Army? $15.
Well, she's with Valera Health, so it's like a Zoom or like phone therapy for
Gotcha.
people who are poor.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should just have him be on the other side of the camera. He can just listen in.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, kill two birds with
Basically,
one
couples
stone.
therapy,
Yeah.
more or less.
Well, all right. Well,
Yeah, so
don't kill yourself unless you want to. It is a choice at the end of the day. Coming in at number 3.
Okay, so we've 3 left. Okay, so This guy was a younger guy. He was 5 years younger than me. And we went home. I was saying I wasn't going to have sex with him on the first date, but like he could just come back and we could hang, you know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't have sex with him.
Sure.
But when we were, and I have a whole bit about this, but when we were kissing, he was just like slapping my arse and we had clothes on. So that was very weird for me. Because I felt like, I don't know, it made me feel like a kid and I'm so much older than him. And I've never experienced that in Ireland.
How long ago was this?
Right before my boyfriend.
Because you're not that old. Now, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? You're
31.
young.
Oh my God,
Okay, so he was like 25 or something at the time. So yeah, you're seeing how the younger kids are acting these days.
Yeah, it was weird. And then when we got into bed, he was really embarrassed. Like we were just gonna sleep over, no sex, but he was like, "Oh, you got to turn around because I have holes in my boxers and I don't want you to see."
Oh, sounds about 25.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, but you usually don't whip out the spanking when you're completely clothed and just it's not a makeout move.
I feel like he just
very odd.
In that moment he couldn't help himself, and that's very telling. Like, control your hands, like, man, like, keep it together. Like a smack on the ass fully clothed. That was
and it was like a rhythm, like smack smack smack.
I can't believe you went out on a date with Will Smith and he's younger. No, that's a stupid joke. That's gonna get cut in post. Yeah, that's a crazy one. It keeps reminding me of the Seinfeld episode where the guy just takes out his dick in the car with Elaine, and she's like, he took it out, and it's just a thing of like timing. It's like
timing is everything when you're fooling around. Yeah,
and in place, and
he just skipped like 5 steps. Yeah, it's just maybe he thought that would activate you. I think that's what he thought.
Yeah, maybe in the boxers holes things, he thought I'd be like, just take them off or something.
Yeah. Oh, you got some holes?
Yeah, I got some holes.
I'll save you.
If you were really, really into spanking, maybe that would ignite something.
Sure, yeah. Hey, he rolled the dice.
And I'll just keep this as the same date thing as well, because a different guy, and I also have a bit about it, and it is from a true story. And I pretend it's an American guy because I think that's funnier, but it actually was an Irish guy. Up in Woodlawn, we were kissing and he choked me and he just like pushed me up against the wall. But I'd never heard of choking before. I just moved over.
Also while making out?
Just while making out. And I had said we weren't having sex. Because
holy shit.
I know, he's crazy.
Yes, that should be its own number on its own other list of you getting assaulted by someone. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I have had tons of stuff like that where another guy said that he was using I had said, don't, like, you have to put on a condom, and I was like really drunk, so I kind of fell asleep. But then the next day he made a joke about how he was like, oh, I just like I go, you used a condom, and he goes, well, I took it off halfway through. And I'm like, I was just like, whatever. And then years later I was like, oh, that's like assault. Shit.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can laugh at my assault.
Coming in at number 2. Holy shit, Jesus Christ.
Well, everybody don't be as silly as me.
She lived to tell the tale, as they say. She's on top 9.
Listen.
We're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm fine. And I think it was a time when these things were just becoming into discussion, that like, oh, you need to respect a women's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I've had some afterthoughts like, oh no, that was real bad. Yeah. Real bad.
Out of that heat of the moment type of stuff. These fellas, I'll tell you.
Especially when we were super young, like we started exploring with sex in high school. Like the way the boys just kind of, like, a thing in my high school was running trains on girls.
What's that?
Multiple men have sex with a girl. It didn't happen to me, but my ex-boyfriend was one of the people.
They called Adele the R train.
No,
at Queens High School.
The way that I was affected, my boyfriend at the time ran a train on a girl, and a few of my girlfriend's boyfriends were in the train. And it was
what does it mean though?
Okay, so one girl lays there with her legs open, and there's a line of guys that have sex with her, and like the next guy goes. And the next guy goes, a train, like, yeah.
This is horrific.
And she doesn't necessarily just lay there. She might change position. Who knows?
She wants it. She wants it. It's consensual. Okay. It's consensual.
She's having a good time. It's the year 2001, and she's just happy to be there, and she's exploring her own sexuality.
Yes.
But yeah, they can get,
Yeah.
Trains are crazy.
I'm sure
you've never heard of this?
Years down the line, she thought about it. Was like,
I mean, you never heard of gangbangs? Gangbangs. It's just another word for a gangbang.
Gangbangs, yeah.
Yes, that's what a
They're
gangbang
not just
is.
one girl and guys running train.
That's what a gangbang is.
Usually they're sex workers, like porn stars. You don't think it's going to be like Claire from biology.
Yeah.
You know her. You had a sleepover at her house like a few years before. Like, it's weird. Like, it was crazy.
It's a little odd, sure.
And it's all like drink. That's why they're not only like with sex education class, there should be like also like post embarrassment. Like, if you do this, you're going to be embarrassed. Just like, or you're going to get HPV or.
I wonder. Yeah, no, absolutely. I wonder if one of the girls from your high school got trained on by 9 dudes and then she ranked the top 9. That would be pretty funny, right? So wait, did we get to number 2? This train thing really...
We have 2 more.
Okay, sorry, yeah, we didn't get to the number 2 yet. Coming in at number 2.
Okay, this was an Irish guy who was also following and followed by a comedian friend who I should have double checked with again, so I don't learn my lesson. But I just stopped seeing someone, and we were messaging. We're both Irish, so we're like, "Oh, that's cool." And then
I feel like I met this guy before, maybe.
No,
or maybe not.
No,
Another Irish guy.
This was it only lasted like a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I had just stopped seeing someone, so I was like, I actually don't want to, I just want to be friends. And he had asked me earlier where my favorite coffee shop in Astoria was. And he was like, well, that's fine, but I'm going to come over to that coffee shop and you can just like leave me there alone, or you can come over and hang out with me. And my roommate at the time was
Pulled that move a couple times.
My roommate at the time was like, this is a really bad sign. He's like bullying you into a date. So I go, and he's like super handsome. He's kind of annoying though, just like nonstop talking, talk.
Yeah.
And talking, already told me all about his ex-wife and everything, which again should have been a red flag. But then I had a comedy show to go to that night, and he just hung out with me the whole day. So he was like, I'm gonna come, and he texted his friend to come. And then I do the bit about choking, which is important. But I also had a really fun time. It was like some of the comics were kind of struggling, and then I had a fun time, so that was kind of noticeable, you know, where people were like, oh. And then Danish went up, and he had a great set as well. And then in front of everybody, people were coming up and complimenting me in Danish. And then he comes up, and in front of all my friends, he was like, "Oh, Katie, like, you killed it, but you didn't make me cry. Danish made me cry." And it's like, you don't need to do that. That's like, don't compare me to a friend, or or try to like neg me or take me down,
critique you at all.
Yeah, you fucker. But he was hot, and I was kind of like, I know I don't have a lot of one-night stands, so I was like, I think I will just like. You know, well, I actually necessarily hadn't planned to go home with him, but he was like, come on, we'll have fun, you can just stay over, we can get breakfast. And I was like, I'm not sure. And then he was like texting me like, come on, we're having such a good time. So I kind of it was just easier to say yes, which is like not good either. But then so I went back with him, and then he was kind of like talking about my podcast. He was like, I don't see the point in you being like sex positive in New York, like everybody's sex positive, so like why don't you like go to Texas or something. So kind of trying to insult my podcast as well.
This guy's hitting all the angles.
I know. And then we were in bed and we were kissing, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have sex with him.
Okay.
Because I was like, I want to have fun or whatever.
Fuck it.
And then he choked me. So he had heard my bit where I said I don't like being choked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not to... Was it before or during?
During.
Okay.
And then I pulled back and I go, you heard my joke, and he had asked me about the joke. He was like, do you really not choking? So we'd had this conversation about it. And I go, you heard me. We've talked about this and we had this joke. And he goes, I just wanted to make sure. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I wanted to see if you're really not into it. And I was like, so you don't trust me as an adult woman to know what I'm into? So that was it. The next, I didn't want to see him again after that.
It's hard enough to know what a girl's into. She literally told you.
Yeah. But that just shows how and sometimes there's and I don't want to say it's all Irish men, but there is a certain culture there where it's very sexist and
dirty people.
You know, I even had a Irish guy come to my show recently who was an older, but totally I had said something about how a certain amount of people had been to a show once, and he was like, no, they're very quick to tell you things that you're like, I know this is me. How can you say? How can you?
And almost hyper masculine, where they're like, actually, I know what you actually want. For your body.
Yeah, they'd nearly tell you that your last name is not your last name, or your favorite color isn't your favorite color. And this guy was so weirded out by the fact that I didn't want to see him again. I had blocked him and everything because he started to write on a Instagram live thing, and I was like, this is not appropriate. And then he texted me saying oh, blocking is a bit much, and I was like, hey, just leave me alone. I'm not interested. I'm not in the space to date anybody right now. And then a couple of days later, when I was in Miami, I got a voicemail from him, and it was like, "Hey, Katie, I just don't understand." And it was like a long ass voicemail of how he couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to go on another date with him. And then I just blocked his number.
Yeah, man, this episode is one of my favorite episodes in the moment, and it's really good, and it's been so funny, and also just like has these really dark moments. This is number 2 is
dating is
very,
trash, man.
is
Men
very
are trash.
dark. We have taken a very dark turn here, and I appreciate your honesty. And yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is dark. But it also just shows, like, imagine a woman was doing that. In his eyes, if a woman was like, "No, you should date me. No, you have to do this. Oh, I'm gonna text. I'm gonna leave a voicemail." Like, no, he'd be like, "This is the craziest bitch."
Yeah, what if you told a girl I'm not into fingers in my bum and then she stuck her finger in your bum?
Sure, yeah.
You're like, that's fucking rude.
I've been there. But yeah, no, sure.
And then she left you a voicemail about it.
Yeah.
Who leaves voicemails anyway? And it's like, I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
And you don't, like, the fact that I haven't done a TikTok about that and used the
I know.
voicemail, he's so lucky. But I just don't want to get murdered, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth being murdered. But yeah, man,
That's always a
crazy
risk, the murder part on these dates. Yeah.
Well, it's such a crazy power move to hear the joke and then to try it out. Like, he was trying to, like, Ike Turner you or something of, like, be like, "I'm your boss now." And it was also just such a crazy thing to do the first sexual experience.
Yeah.
That's what's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that guy sounds scary. So I don't know how we beat that, but we still got
Okay,
one more to
one
go.
more.
This is Katie Boyle's worst
Date.
date somehow. What happened? Did this guy kill you? And then did you come back to
I'm
life?
a ghost. No, this guy asked for my number at the bar, or he left his number on a receipt, and he was like so handsome and very quiet, and he would come in just for lunch. And then when we met up, it was after a show in Brooklyn. He came at the end of the show, and it was in, like, you know, those like pew style chairs. So I was at the edge. We were in the back of the showroom where nobody else was, and there was a table. So when he sat down with the drinks, I was trapped. So it is important because
He did that on purpose?
No, but just it was very hard to just get up and leave, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So straight away when he sat down, he started to talk about how people should believe in Jesus Christ because he's a real thing. And he went on to explain that
When does the date get bad? I'm on board so far.
Wait. He said there's scientific, I can't even say that word, evidence between the moon and the stars to prove that Jesus Christ is alive.
On board
So
still?
he went on for a while about that.
Love it.
And then he said that he doesn't understand how people have sex before marriage. That's really disgusting. And that sex should be only done for reproduction. And then I made a joke being like, I think that's the last reason why it should be done. And then he was really angry with me.
Great joke, though.
Yeah,
Great
right.
joke. Really
Yeah,
good.
he
Really,
should
really
have
good.
laughed.
It was a
He
good
was
joke.
Not,
It was.
not happy. And then he started talking about how no one ever listens to him, and he has all these like before he found God, he like really struggled with like what was the word, like overthinking a lot. And so he was like talking about his neuroses a lot. Then he did something really weird. He was like, so I said, "So have you ever had sex if you don't believe in sex before marriage?" And he was like, "No, I've never had sex." So I was like, "Oh, that's probably why you're a bit neurotic."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
It's
like.
got to let the juices out.
But also I was like, why am I here? I'm not planning to get married. You know, I'm not.
Shouldn't that
But
be in their profile, like bio?
But wait a minute. I thought you do want to get married.
I mean, at some point, yeah, but I want to have sex before then. I'm
Sure,
not
yeah,
holding
you
out-
want to test it out. You want
It's
to make sure
because
you
I
don't
wear
got
a
one of those
cross.
skinny
Maybe.
penises. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was saying, I said sex doesn't have to be like a dirty thing because he was saying how dirty it was, and I was like, it actually is a great way to find out if you're in love with somebody because you know me trying to fix people. And then he was like, that's not true. I love my family. And I was like, well, yeah, I hope you're not fucking your family. And then he was just angry again. And then I was like, okay, I really gotta go. I have to be somewhere. But he like followed me to the train. And as we're walking to the train, he's like 4 feet behind me, but still talking.
At
to
least
me.
you knew he wasn't going to rape you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
He's definitely not going to choke me.
No, we might do that.
Oh, okay. But when we were going to the train, he was like, I just want to go to heaven one day. And then I was like, because I don't necessarily believe in heaven or hell. I think like that this is it. So I was like, well, this could be heaven. And then he got really mad at that because that was not the right answer. And his whole thing is that his life will be better when he's in heaven or something. And then when we were in the car, or the train.
car?
I mean the train, sorry. Also, before the train
You
came.
guys are taking the train together at this point?
Because he just came with me.
He was just following you at
He
this
was
point?
following me. And I was afraid he would push me in front of the train. So I sat in the middle, on the middle of the thingy.
Play it safe.
But when we got on the train, and this is maybe like 6 years ago. So remember, my brain's not fully formed. Because like a regular person would have just been like, I'm getting in an Uber.
Yeah.
But I was like, how do you know, like maybe you're struggling with your sexuality, like maybe you should like watch porn and like masturbate. I don't know why. So
really poking the bear at this
Yeah,
point.
I was gonna say this very angry church man is about to freak out on this.
He got
this
really
train
mad. He was
ride.
like, "No, that's not it," and whatever, spouting off like Christianity stuff. And then my phone lit up, and he was like, "Is that your boyfriend?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a boyfriend. I wouldn't be on a date." And then he was like, "Then who's texting you?" And I was like, "A friend who I'm gonna go meet." And then when I went to get off that subway stop, and I chose 14th Street Union Square because I was like, oh, that's like really public and stuff, and I don't want him to know where I lived. He got off with me, but I knew he lived on the Upper East Side because that's where my bar was. So as he was trying to get off, I pushed him back in front onto the train, and I was like, no, you stay on this train. And as the doors closed,
Wow.
he was just like, oh.
He sniffs your hair as you go away. He's like, bye.
So weird why religious people are so fucking weird sometimes. They should be cool.
I think when you're that religious, there's something else going on, and you're deflecting and putting all this like importance on something else because there's something else a brewing.
Yeah, he's having a psychotic. This must be like a psychotic break.
That is a really bad date. But just so you know, that should be number 2. And number 2 should be number 1. You're saying, this is what I'm saying. Women are crazy. Number penis. 2, she was assaulted. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
You're putting skinny penis over that.
Skinny
That's
penis,
women are fucking crazy.
Getting lost inside your fucking vagina canal. That's bad.
Yeah. Well, this guy.
The guy choked her when she said she didn't want to be choked. That's way worse than a skinny penis.
But this Christian guy also.
But he can't control that. That guy was psychotic. Go ahead.
This Christian guy also kept texting me afterwards, and then I kept texting me about how I was in his prayers, and that's really creepy.
Yeah, that is really weird. I hate that. I watched something on a TV show where someone there's a difference between being spiritual and all that stuff. It was actually Love is Blind. Somebody was like, they said they didn't believe in God, and the girl was like, I'm going to pray for you.
I like when like older people say they're going to pray for me, like the elderly.
Well, it's about...
Yeah, my grandmother prays for me all the time. That's fine.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No,
she's closer to whatever's
there. Get in there. Get me in there, please.
There's nothing wrong with praying for someone. It's weird as a threat is what I'm saying.
Sure,
when someone's like, I'm going to pray for you. It's like, you're missing the whole point of praying for someone. It's not the point. But yeah, great list. I feel like I disturbed both of you a few times during the list.
So you don't have any bad date
Listen,
stories.
honey, why are we even focusing on me when we have the Mona Lisa of bad dates over here? Do you got anything you want to say? Do you have a highlight?
I mean, an embarrassing moment after a date that I had. I went on a date with a guy.
You shit yourself.
No, the next day.
You peed yourself.
I sent.
You peed and pooped yourself.
My girlfriend, my friend, a video of his house, and because he lives in a really big house. And I wrote, "Girl, I got Christian grade last night, minus the sex dungeon part." And I sent a video of his own house and wrote that to him.
Pretty good.
It was horrible.
How do you respond back?
He thought it was funny, and I was like, "Of course I did that. Of course."
Men are cool.
Yeah, I've done that. I've screenshot guy's text message and sent it to him.
Very funny.
Dying. And Christian Grey, in the movie, he's like billionaire who like whisks her wink off her feet and does this whole thing, and that's kind of how the date felt with him. It was like a trip that got extended and the whole thing. So it was a true statement as far as he knew, but like that was just crazy.
Sure.
So embarrassing.
And why didn't it work out with that guy?
She just told you.
He lived. I mean, he lived in another state. That was the big reason. Also, he was a bachelor and worth a lot, has a lot of money, is good looking. They don't want
They
to
don't
settle
wanna
down
settle down.
ever.
No.
So, I mean, yeah, we can keep it casual if I still wanted to, but I
Yeah.
want something more. So,
Yeah. It's mad how like the bachelor guys, and I know they can get all the vagina, but do they not want, like, it's so nice to have someone that you just come home and be like, oh, my day was bad. Or like someone who knows you long term and
Sure.
got shared consciousness.
Do you want to leave the room for a little bit while we talk?
no, that's what I keep thinking is going to happen.
It will, but it's so
It's
frustrating that
going
there's
to,
so
you
many
psychopath.
men. Yeah, of course it will. But it's just annoying that in New York there's so many of these like narcissistic men, and it's just harder to find that. You nearly have to go for the kind of what isn't you're like not charming or not like.
No.
But at some point, you have to also look. I mean, is there a version of a date where you were one of these men? Like, did you fuck up a date at all? Because all of these are
Yeah.
dudes being bad. So, but at some point, you have to internalize it and be like, is it me, perhaps?
Oh,
You know, I'm just speaking from the man perspective.
well, also for me, I was choosing absolute nightmares because that's what I was
Sure.
attracted
Yeah,
to.
you're
So
right.
until I worked on that, and then I was like, okay. Also, like I have with like longer term probably scared off guys because, but in a good way. But I'm like very much like if it's longer than 3 months and I'm not a girlfriend, I'd be like, where is this going?
Sure.
And they're like, ah, and I'm like, good luck, goodbye. So, but with my boyfriend now, I said that pretty early on because I was like, I am exhausted, and he was
Sure.
like, yeah, no, me too. I'm looking for a relationship, and I was like, wow, that's the first time in 7 years.
Yep. I don't want to have to pay for this. You know that song? I don't want to have to, Anyway, I'm not doing it right. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But I do think there's more of those type of guys, those bachelor-y guys in New York City.
Sure.
You got to set it to like New Jersey or somewhere.
Yeah, I want like an import, like someone that lives in New York but comes from like Alabama or some shit.
Yeah,
Like
or some wholesome place like
Yeah.
the Midwest.
I'd
a
actually
Midwest, a little yes ma'am, no sir, upbringing vibe.
listen.
Yeah.
There's plenty of you perverts in the comments. What I want you guys to do. This is the episode where we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a dating show for Adele. Okay.
Ridiculous.
I want you to send your applications to top9pod@gmail.com, and we will get back to you.
I love this.
And we will field some people. Some of them are pretty creepy, but we'll siphon those out, and we'll see what we
5-year
can
plan.
do.
Yeah, what's your 5-year plan?
Yes, please include your 5-year plan and a picture. top9pod@gmail.com. This has been a phenomenal episode, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
for
That was
doing
so
it.
Thank you.
fun.
That was so much fun.
So
We're-
honest, so candid,
Very,
so funny.
very, all of those things.
Yeah.
You said it. Where can the people find you?
Oh, at Katie Boyle Comic, or I have a podcast called The Shift on everything, or Living Cheap in New York City, just on Callan, not on everything, because I don't know how to figure that out yet.
Cool.
But yeah,
Nice.
please.
Nice.
Adele?
Follow me on Instagram, Adele Carollo, and follow Top 9 and subscribe. I'll see you in the comments.
And in my dreams. Get in my car. TomCassidy.com. This episode will come out the week I'm in California. So if you're in California, check out that. I'll be at California Comedy Club and shows with Are You Garbage. San Francisco, LA sold out, but we do have another show in LA at New York, California Comedy Club and La Jolla. And album's coming. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.